Good morning, traders. This is a live trade recap. I took no trades this morning, all between 9:30 and 10 a.m. I have everything on video. I'm going to show you the stocks that I was watching and why I didn't take a trade. And I'm also going to share a little market analysis with you and explain why some of these stocks are not following throughout the day. So as always, I start with my Webull customized screener, which I built with the active screener, the top gainers screener, and the quotes widget. So the active screener just shows me the top 20 stocks traded by volume. So those are the most active stocks being traded. The top gainers, that shows me the stocks that are gapping up, but not necessarily with volume. So that's why I use the two in conjunction, because volume is a great catalyst to continue price in the direction that it's going. So once a stock is up here, if it's the number one stock, which right now SNDL is, but it wasn't when I was trading, AMC was. So, but even though SNDL is the number one stock traded right now, it does not meet my criteria. The number one stock must be 500 million shares or less of the free float size. And then AMC, which was number one when I was trading, is below that 500 million share. So since it was number one, it was on my watch list, although there were no trades to take, and I'll show you that. Vtnr was another one, meets my float size requirement, and I'm not sure, is it still on the top gainers list now? Yeah, right here. So it's on the top gainers, it meets the float size, so it goes on the list. So that's how I picked the stocks. Let's take a look at the video and we'll see what went on my watch and what I was looking to take trades on. So AMC, as I said, was number one by volume, but it wasn't trading above its previous day's high, which is marked out here with this line 36.72. So just based on that, I can't even look for an entry, because if I take an entry when it's trading below its previous high, then I'm taking an entry in a downtrend. So that's why I have that criteria. It's not just some random thing, but if the stock is not trading above its previous high, then it is in a recent downtrend, and you're stacking the odds against you for the trade working out. It's not to say that the trade will never work out, but it's just that much more unlikely. So OEG is trading above. This is the previous high right here. That's the highest it's been trading the last 2 days, or at least the pre-market and the previous day. So obviously it's trading above. So at this point, I'm just waiting for a pullback to look for an entry. And now it's pulling back, but notice it's really pulling back hard. So I put out a line to remind myself of where the beginning of the ABCD pattern is. It's right there at 550. If it breaks down below that level, then I cannot take a trade, because that means that it's in a recent downtrend, and I'd be taking a reversal trade, which I don't do, again, because they do sometimes work out, but not often enough for me to add that to my list of setups. So there, it breaks down through the ABC pattern, or fails the ABCD pattern. Any trade at this point would be a reversal trade, which I do not take. So this trade is basically over, and right now I raised my level that the stock has to trade through in order for me to take a trade or even look for a trade. So now it has to break through that 630 level. So GOED, same thing. These are all stocks that are on that active screener and on the top gainers and meet my float size requirement. But if they're not trading above their previous day high or pre-market high, then I can't look for a trade. WPG is an interesting one. I just pulled that up out of pure curiosity. It was on the top gainers list, but it was not one of the top volume traded stocks, so it did not meet my criteria to look for a trade. If it was one of those, then a good entry would have been right after this red candle here, because this is the previous day high, and then the thing took off. But it didn't have the volume that I needed in order to take a trade. So even though it had this nice move here, it doesn't matter. It didn't meet my screener criteria to look for a trade. Now, the interesting thing is, notice that while this thing was shooting up, the markets are selling off. You've got the SPY, the NASDAQ, all that stuff is selling off. This thing is going up with no volume. So that means that people can come in and just buy some random shares and push the price up. And then what happens when the volume comes in to WPG? It starts selling off just like the rest of the market, because the volume in the market is selling. So it makes sense. So that was just kind of like an interesting observation. Once volume came into that stock, it started to do what the rest of the market was doing. So, and that's something to be aware of, because if a stock is on a top gainers list, even if there's no volume there, it's going to get the attention of other traders. They're going to come in, and more than likely, they're going to do what the rest of the market is doing, which is sell off. So OEG is finally breaking out, but now it's getting close to the wire for me because I can only trade till 10 a.m. It's 9:58 right now, and this thing just went into a halt, so I know there's no way that I'm going to be able to look for an entry. But if this did break out through that previous high and pull back, I would have been able to take an entry as long as it happened before 10 a.m. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. You got to draw the line somewhere. I have a lot of reasons for 10 a.m., and there are plenty of days where there's enough action between 9:30 and 10 a.m. where I get plenty of trades in. So there's no reason to change your rules just because it's a slow day in the markets. Just stick to your plan. It's really important to establish a plan and follow it, so that you know that you're disciplined enough to follow your rules. If you bend one rule, then you're going to bend another rule, and eventually your plan just goes right out the window and it doesn't mean anything. So, all right, so that's pretty much it. Then all I did after that was just do some maintenance on my swing trade with SPXL. I got to move my stop up, finally guaranteed to be green on that one, no matter what happens from this point on. So that's nice, and that's it. There were no trades. Let me just show you on the account that there were no trades taken today, and I'll show you a little trick with Webull. So if I put up orders and click on filled, and if I detach this so that we can actually see, my last trade on AMC was on May 28th, so there was no trades today. And if I close this, now it's gone. Go up to this little box. You might not be able to see this. It's probably out of the frame for you, but there's a little box up here that says minimized, and if you click on reset layout, no matter what page you're on, it'll bring it back to kind of the default layout. So that's a cool little trick. All right, so let me know if you have any questions about this trade or any others you see me take, or about my trading plan or strategy, anything like that. As always, go into every single trade with a plan and follow your plan no matter what. Otherwise, you have no idea if what you're doing is really working or not. And then always have a stop loss and take it if it gets hit no matter what. Honor your profit target, and in the long run, you should be green. Take care.